Many people have been looking for various scholarship opportunities for PhD studies. Yes, today I'm going to talk about PhD studies because I've been receiving a lot of questions, requests, and people want some explanation. How can they get admitted to University A to pursue PhD studies? But the most important question they are wanting to know or to get assistance is how can they get financial assistance? Scholarships, fellowship, grants, whatever it is, how can they be able to study in those universities and get scholarship from those universities or other institutions or from the other governments? So today I'm going to break to you down what it takes to be admitted to university for PhD studies, and most importantly, getting scholarship for PhD studies. Join me, this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM, talking to you from Belton, Missouri in the United States of America. So before I go to discuss or explain to you what it takes to apply, the first thing you have to know, what are the different types of PhD in terms of mode of studying. These two modes of studies will determine how are you going to apply. The processes and the procedures will be taken for you to be able to apply for the PhD studies. So there are two major ways of doing PhD. The first one is PhD by coursework and dissertation. And the second one is PhD by thesis. So PhD by thesis is the most common way used in Europe. How does that take place? A student doesn't go to class every single day. A student doesn't work with all other colleagues in the same class with the teachers coming there and give lectures. So it's a different mode of materials from bachelor and masters, where you go to class, a teacher comes there, give political science 101, give one lecture, and then he leaves, and then at the end you do exam and they come to do presentation. And yeah, so it's not like that way. So from day one, you are working with your supervisor. So you come with the topic and work with your supervisor. So don't go to day in the class. It's just you and your supervisor. That is PhD by thesis. So from day one, you start writing your thesis. And then there is the PhD by coursework and dissertation. This is the most commonly used in US. How does that take place? That means, as a student, every single day you will be going to the class. Just like how you did your master's, just like how you did your bachelor degree. You go to the class, these are compulsory courses, there are elective courses or optional courses you have to take. You accomplish this number of courses, then you take a comprehensive exam. After taking the comprehensive exam, then you do dissertation. Then you go to accomplish your studies. So that is a PhD by coursework and dissertation. And that is the most commonly used in US. So by saying that way, we have seen technical, what is the major difference between applying PhD in the US versus PhD in Europe or the rest of the world? So that means if you want to apply PhD in the US, you have to know from day one you are going to study PhD by coursework and dissertation, while if you are going to apply in Europe or some other countries like Australia, New Zealand, as other countries, you will find out you have to do PhD by thesis. So by that major difference, when it comes to the processes, when it comes to the procedures on how to apply for admissions, you will see there is a big major difference. What is the major difference on that? The major difference is, if you are applying to universities in America, if you are applying PhD to the programs which they have coursework and dissertation, that means you apply direct to the university. That means the university will say, we are taking admission for people doing PhD in sociology, PhD in political science, PhD in mathematics. That means they will go to admit maybe 10 students. Students will come to the class. For the first 2 years or year and a half, you will be going to the class taking compulsory coursework classes. Once you finish those classes, you will take the comprehensive exam, and then from that moment you will develop your proposal, and then you'll work your supervisor. So if you are applying to this kind of university, you are applying in America, That means you don't just directly go to find a supervisor. You just go to apply direct to the university. Yes, you can have a proposal if you want, but it's not a guarantee your proposal will have automatically someone to be able to supervise your proposal, because what if there are no people in that category you are going to do your dissertation? So basically you go from day one, you apply and just go and do kind of that. But if you are applying in Europe or those PhD by thesis, that means when you are going to apply, that means you need to have first of all a PhD proposal. By PhD proposal, what is the topic? It's just like 5, maximum 20 pages. What are you going to do in your PhD? So you need to have a proposal. Maybe you are going to, your proposal will be going to, maybe you want to do PhD in political science, democratic processes in Africa, something like that. So that means you have to find which, how many professors, maybe in University of Bergen, for instance, or from University of Tromsø, in Netherlands, or whatever in Norway, whatever. How many professors from that department of political science or government, they have knowledge, they specialized in political science, democracy, or things related to Africa, of that they can be able to be your supervisor. So you apply for a supervisor, you don't apply direct to the university. You see, this is the major difference. While you are going to apply direct to the university, Stanford University, but once you apply by thesis, you'll go to apply for a supervisor first. If a supervisor says, I'm okay with your proposal, I'll be happy to be your supervisor, then the supervisor will write you a letter of accepting to be a supervisor. Then that supervisor, you will give that letter will be part of the admission process. That means from day one, you can go directly to the professor and start working with the timeline, plans, and all other things. So you see, that is the major difference. So if you want to apply, decide first of all, am I going to apply in Europe or am I going to apply in America? If you're going to apply in Europe, the first thing you have to develop your PhD proposal. If you don't have PhD proposal, you are not going to apply. And by having PhD proposal, 5 to 10 pages, you direct apply to a supervisor. You don't apply direct to the university, because a university cannot admit you if there is no supervisor to say your research is on chemistry, on something, and they don't have that expert. I think you get my point of that. But if you are applying in US, some of the university, yes, especially most like on science, they might have some professors, they might request in advance, we want people to be admitted, but in the end they can specialize on something. Yes, there are some of the professors, but you apply direct to the university, but they can give condition, someone will be doing dissertation on this particular topic because we have a funding on this particular, maybe construction of roads, whatever, something like that. But in most cases, you direct apply to the university if you want to apply in America, because PhD is a PhD by coursework and dissertation. So that is the difference you have to know. By knowing that, then it comes to the scholarship part. Majority of people, let's say when they go to apply for PhD, let's say in the American system, don't just jump and apply to Stanford University. Don't just jump to apply to certain university without knowing if that university, they have advertised that we are looking for people to give scholarships. In America, you will not find the word scholarship in particular. You will find the word assistantship. By assistantship, that means you will be assisting, graduate assistant, you will be assisting teaching, you will be assisting some work, academic work in the department, seminar, and all other things in Tanzania or in other African countries. We used to call these tutorial assistants, TA, or seminar leaders. So here is graduate assistants or research assistants. So here they use assistantship program because you will be assisting teaching, you will be assisting certain academic work in the department, and then they will be paying for your tuition fees, and also they'll be giving you the living expenses, the stipend you'll be using for your living expenses. So in the US, the university or the department, they'll categorize that we are looking for people coming to do mathematics here, and these will be giving maybe 5 assistantship. Or if they don't say, but if you are limited, they will tell you we'll give you assistantship. So if you want to do that, you can either go to the university you want to apply in the US, and go to the prospective, if the PhD prospective students, and ask, go to the department if there will be scholarships. assistantships. If they didn't mention, you didn't read anything from there, write to a professor or admission office, graduate admission office, email. They'll respond to you within 3 business days that we have assistantship, yes, apply. So that is something else. But in Europe, it's your responsibility to go to search. Maybe you want to go to Netherlands, go to all those universities in Netherlands, like 5-10 universities, then find supervisors who are in your area of interest. When you get to those supervisors, people in your area of interest, then get their email address, and then you ask them, send the email that you are showing the interest, you want to pursue PhD in this particular area, and you believe that professor because you saw the resume of that particular professor and some of the research. So in your rate of interest, you have to connect. Why do you want to choose that professor to be your supervisor, and why your topic is related to his or her expertise? Then you are attached with your PhD proposal, which I said is just a high-level summary, 5 to 10 pages, what you want to do in your PhD. So if that person agrees, then it continues that way. But you have to send to so many professors or so many universities. But again, you go to those universities which they have scholarships. You don't just go, someone say, I will go accept you, but they don't. There is no scholarship. So you'll be getting admission and just walk around like someone just like this, like kind of like communal way. Oh, can I have salt? No, it doesn't work that way. You must go to certain places. They say will give funding for these particular scholarships. So that is some way. But in Europe, once you get that kind of letter, we are going to admit it. There is coming to admission processes. Most of the scholarships in Europe, 99.9% of all scholarships in Europe, you must take the English proficiency test. There are 2 types of tests, English proficiency. Only the one they are most famous and identified. There is English version or British version, and there is American version. British version is International English Language Testing System, IELTS. Google that way. It is done at the British Council around $300 or $250 something US, depending conversion to your own country. Then you can do that type of exam at the at the British Council. The exam is marked out of 10, and most universities they want to get 6.5 out of 10. So you must have that one. If you want a scholarship, number 1, do the English proficiency test. If you want to do the American version, is called the Test of English as a Foreign Language, TOEFL. That exam, depending on your country, each country is done different. In Tanzania, for instance, is done at the Mwalimu Nyerere University in Kigamboni. But any other country you can find, just go find like www.ets.org/TOEFL. You'll find that exam. It doesn't mean that you must do the TOEFL to go to America. No, you can do TOEFL, you can go to Europe, you can do IELTS, you can come to America. Those 2 exams, they are accepted worldwide. Wherever you want to go, they will accept those 2 exams. The TOEFL exam is marked out of 120. Each university, they put a different score. And you need to get, I advise people to get at least 75 and above. For many universities, they'll be accepting that kind of score. Both exams, they are almost the same. English writing, reading, listening, speaking. Simple like that. Don't complicate your life. They are not going to test your intelligence. The same exam someone is going to do bachelor degree, the same exam someone is going to do masters and PhD, they are doing the same exam, is going to test your proficiency. For instance, if in grammar you're going to write they comes, that is wrong. So it doesn't matter whether you have PhD, whether you have your kindergarten education. It comes or he comes, not they comes. So they're going to mark the grammar. They're going to mark the use of preposition, all those other things. What you are going to supposed to do. So you have to take the test. I usually tell people, if you want to go to heaven, obviously you have to accept to die. And if you are seriously looking for scholarships, number 1 thing, you have to take the English proficiency test. There is no shortcut to maturity. You have to take it. I agree. There are very, very few exceptions. There are very, very few scholarships which they don't require those kind of tests. But in the real type of competition, we are in the capitalist world of competition. Don't wait for waiver. Don't wait for being someone to feel sympathy for you. There is no sympathy. This is a jungle of a lot of animals. There is lion, there is a tiger, there is just a small creature like every small animal and big animals. So it's your responsibility how you can survive in that kind of jungle. So if you're going to the competition, don't wait for sympathy. Just make sure that you are very prepared to apply with everything. But again, in America, apart from the English proficiency test, there is another requirement. The requirement is there are different type of exams we call graduate admission tests. There are different kind of exams. These exams in other countries, we used to have what we call matriculation exams. If you want to go to the university, you have to take that kind of test. This test has mathematics, basic mathematics of Form 2 or junior high school, those kind of mathematics. They have English. The English is vastly different from the 12 English. It's not proficiency, it's about vocabulary and all other crazy stuff. Then there is a part of writing an essay. It's a very tough exam. You can Google these kind of exams. So it's depending of what are you going to study at the university. If you are going to study management programs, you have to take what we call GMAT, Graduate Management Admission Test, GMAT. It's around $250 depending on your country, but you have to find where the center they have in your country to have to do that exam. If you are doing non-management program, like social science, for instance, you have to take the GRE, Graduate Record Exam. Just Google or just go to their website, www.ets.org/GRE. You will find that kind of procedures. That exam is around 210, if not mistaken, depending on your country. Where that exam you find in the center, you can be able to do that. You can apply and pay online using your MasterCard, Visa card, and be able to pay. But apart from that, if you are doing medical, they have MCAT, medical exam, whatever they call. If you are coming to do in the US, for instance, Juris Doctor, JD, they have their own exam. So it depends on what program are you going to do, but overall, the most common are GRE and GMAT. Those are MCAT for medical, LSAT for law people. Those are the things a little bit to be different depending on what you're going to do. So those are the things you need first of all to know the basics on how, if you want to be admitted first, what are you supposed to do? But most important, where can you get the money? Remember, I usually tell people, someone asked me, so why should I apply for scholarships? I'm talking to the people who are doing PhD. Most of the people who are doing PhD, they are assistant lecturers in the universities. Most of them, not all, most of them. So assume your salary as assistant lecturer is maybe $1,500, $1,500. So if your salary is $1,500, obviously if you come to study in America PhD takes between 3 to 5 years, depending, because if you do 2 years or 2.5 years of coursework, dissertation is depending on how able you are able to do. So some people they do up to 5 years. So you'll be paid here maybe $1,500, $1,500 again, or again you'll be paid $2,000 depending on which city, which state, and the nature of the scholarship. So if you are paid here $1,500, you'll be able to survive with this money, plus the money which you'll be having there, you'll be getting direct to put in your bank account. So assume you have maybe even $1,000 you save directly for the course of 3 years. So that's a lot of money, because 3 years is over 36 months. So that one is over 36,000 US dollar. If you convert into your local currency, if you're in Tanzania, you're talking of over 75 million Tanzanian shillings. If you're in Kenya, you're talking also a lot of good money. So you'll be able to save a lot of that money, but at the same time, you are doing studies. You are paid to get studies. Some people wonder, like, there was a discussion around the people in Africa. They wanted to find out, oh, Europeans have to pay us back because they took us in slave trade. Yes, you have a logic to do that, but they cannot just come back and distribute money like selling their peanuts or groundnuts around the street. They cannot just go and distribute the money. They will give the money to very few people who want their money back. For my case, for instance, I wanted my money back. I applied, they gave me scholarship. I get over 120,000 US dollar. That, if I convert in Tanzanian shillings, we are talking over 250 million Tanzanian shillings. Yes, I got my money back. But if you want your money back, go and get it. And you go to get it, apply for scholarship, they'll give you your money back. They'll give you the money to go to study for your own benefit and benefit of your colleagues. But they cannot just go and distribute the money in a very small village in Kisumu, in Meru, in Nairobi, in Zimbabwe, in Harare over there. No, they cannot do that. They cannot just go in Kigoma or Ujiji or somewhere and start distributing the money. No. If you want the money, go and get it. That is the typical feature of capitalism. You want something, go and get it. And there is no shortcut. Follow the procedure. Know the difference applying Europe versus America. Know the difference between applying the scholarship admission of know the difference applying admission of coursework versus coursework dissertation versus by thesis, and then know the difference in terms when you go to apply to prepare those materials like to prepare something like the proposal and not to prepare a proposal, all those other things. And even if you don't have a proposal in the American context, they will need to have maybe something like writing sample. There are so many other things you need to have. But overall, remember, you don't apply one university and just wait. Most of these scholarships, for instance, this we're talking is 2019. So if you are applying for 2019, you are applying in order to go to study in 2020, in August 2020. So for that case, if you apply to universities and they slap you out, that means you don't get in. That means you have to wait 2020 to apply to go 2021. So you are wasting 2 years. Just assume how many shots Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo are taking towards the goalkeeper in order to score one goal. They take over 10, 15, 20 shots in one game. So don't wait to apply two schools, two programs, and to just sit there drinking beer at the bar and say, oh, I'm waiting next year, I'm going to go to Canada and to get a scholarship. You are not alone in this kind of world of scholarships on the application and competition. There are so many people in China. There are over 1.5 billion people from China. How many Chinese they want to get out of China to go to America? How many people from India they want to move from India to go to America? Because there are so many people from China, they go to Africa. They just go there and they sell they sell cashew nuts and they sell stuff in the tree in the market. So what if those people they get prepared to come to America? And that's why you find, if you go to find the scores of GRE, the score of TOEFL, Chinese and Indians are the one leading most of the time because they are preparing so hard. The population of India is 1.2 billions, is equal or more than the population of entire Africa. Population of Nigeria is over 180 something millions. So you have to really know that this is a competition. So apply at least 10 universities if you really want to get a scholarship. If you want to score a goal as a forward, you have to kick so many shots on target. That's the simple way of winning. I'm sure this will be the end of this audio. It has been a very long audio so far, but I'm sure you got to the point. If you have any question about applying, please don't hesitate to contact me on my WhatsApp. Don't call, please write a WhatsApp message or email. WhatsApp number is +1 619 228 4381. Again, +1 619 228 4381. Write a WhatsApp message. Don't call, because you do not know my time zone. You do not know what I'm doing. I will end up blocking you because you will be disturbing my personal life. So that is how it works. And one request for you, please share this audio to your colleagues in your department. For the people in the universities, please share this audio to your friends. And make sure that you go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/EBM Scholars. I have so many audios, videos about how to get scholarships, bachelor, master's, and PhD. But also, make sure that you go to my other website, which I post scholarships almost every week. This is ebmscholarships.com. If you go to that particular channel or website, you'll be able to see a lot of opportunities. Each week I post new scholarships for bachelor, master's, PhD. So it's up to you to make sure that you'll be able to succeed. Please share this audio to many other people, but don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/EBM Scholars. Or just go to the YouTube and search the word EBM Scholars. You'll find a lot of scholarship from EBM Scholars. And again, my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM, talking to you from Belton, Missouri in the United States of America. And I salute you and all the best in your looking for scholarships for PhD studies. I hope to see so many people with a PhD, so many scholars in Africa and around the developing countries to be able to provide development and the changes in their respective societies. Thank you. And once again, all the best. Bye-bye.